The wind tastes like rain and secrets tonight. I clutch my cloak tighter as I walk along the dim forest path behind the castle. The moon above me is swollen, almost silver enough to break. The branches overhead twist together like a ribcage. Every crunch of leaves under my feet sounds louder than it should. I shouldn't be here, not after what happened last midnight. On the stone bridge yesterday, I overheard the council whispering a prophecy. When the moon turns red, the Alpha King will claim what's his. I pretended I didn't hear, but my lungs have been tight ever since. I inhale, steadying myself. The forest smells of pine, damp earth, and danger. I'm not something to claim, I whisper into the darkness. A low rumble echoes back. Not thunder, a growl. My heart slams into my ribs. I turn slowly, every instinct screaming at me to run, but my feet stay glued to the cold ground. Two glowing eyes appear between the trees. Wolf eyes, huge, too intelligent. The Alpha's tracking hounds are trained to kill. But this wolf, it steps into the moonlight. And it's not just big. It's enormous, larger than a horse, silver fur rippling like liquid moonlight. Its gaze pins me in place, but not with the hunger of a predator. More like it already knows me. My breath shivers out of me. You're not supposed to be here. The wolf lowers its head and takes a slow step toward me. My heart beats once, twice, before the animal suddenly stops and lifts its nose into the air, sniffing. Something changes. The wind shifts. My pulse stutters. The wolf takes one more step. Then, it bows. Wolves don't bow. What do you want? My voice wavers. The wolf's eyes flash gold. For a heartbeat, I feel heat, intense, possessive, washing over me like someone is touching my mind, my soul, my very breath. Mine. The word doesn't speak aloud. It slides into my head. I stumble back. No. Whatever you think, whatever you want, I don't belong to anyone. The wolf moves faster than a gust of wind. One blink and it's inches away. Its breath warms my face, but it doesn't attack. It nudges my palm. I don't pull away. When my fingertips brush its fur, heat shoots up my arm, bright, electric. The world blurs. Suddenly, a silhouette emerges behind the wolf, tall, broad-shouldered, armored in darkness. The wolf dissolves into mist around him like smoke sucked into lungs. I stumble back, gasping. The mist parts, revealing him. The Alpha King. His eyes are the same gold as the wolf's, feral and unrestrained. His presence hits me like a blow, power, danger, temptation. His cape snaps behind him as the wind shifts. A crown rests on his dark hair as if it grew there. He steps toward me, slow, intentional, predatory. Stay away. My voice hakes. He stops inches from me. I can feel his breath on my lips, warm and dangerous. He lowers his head to my ear. After midnight, he whispers, voice dark velvet and possession, you belong to me. I shove him away. You can't own me. The Alpha's jaw clenches, not with anger, but restraint. I notice the way his hands curl, like he's fighting the urge to touch me. His eyes flicker with something almost pained. I don't want to own you, he murmurs. I want to protect you. The forest goes silent, too silent. What are you protecting me from? He looks at me like saying it would break the world apart. From everyone else who wants you dead. My blood runs cold. A howl tears through the night, sharp, furious, close. The Alpha's expression changes. Gentle no more. We need to go. Now. He grabs my wrist, not hard, but unshakable, and pulls me against him. His chest is warm. His heartbeat is fast. No, not fast. Panicked. Trust me, he breathes. The howling comes again, closer this time. He tightens his grip. The moon climbs higher. Midnight is approaching, and I don't know what I fear more, the beasts chasing us, or the man holding me. The Alpha King drags me through the forest like the darkness itself is chasing us. His hand is warm, strong, unshakable around mine. The ground is wet beneath my feet, roots slipping, branches clawing at my cloak. The wind stings my cheeks. Somewhere behind us, a howl splits the night open like a warning. Not the Alpha. Something else. Something hunting. My lungs burn as I run. Who is following us? He doesn't look back. Rogue wolves. Assassins. The word assassin hits me harder than the cold air. But why me? My voice breaks. He glances over his shoulder, eyes glowing gold. Because you're marked. Before the story continues, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I stumble. Marked? By you? His jaw tightens. No. By fate. He tugs me back to my feet like I weigh nothing, and we keep moving. The forest begins to blur, trees smearing into streaks of black and silver. His speed is unnatural. His grip tightens, and for a second, I wonder if he's scared. A king? Afraid? Lightning cracks through my chest. What does that even mean? Marked? He stops abruptly. We're standing in a clearing now, moonlight pooling across the ground like pale water. Our breaths mingle in the cold air. He turns to face me. His eyes are burning, not with anger, something else. Something I can't name. You feel it, he whispers. Every time I'm near, I want to deny it. I should deny it, but the truth sinks under my skin like heat. Whenever he's near, my pulse changes. Whenever he looks at me, the world feels smaller. My chest tightens. That doesn't mean anything. He steps closer. Slow. Control. Led. Like I'm a fragile secret he's afraid to break. You think I want this? His voice lowers. You think I chose to bond to someone who could destroy me? Bond. The word hangs between us like a blade. Destroy you? I exhale a shaky laugh. I can't even understand you. You don't have to understand. His fingers brush my jaw, barely a touch, but it steals the air from my lungs. You just have to survive tonight. A rustle cuts through the clearing. Leaves scatter. Twigs snap. The alpha instantly pushes me behind him, one arm barring my body. In one movement, he shifts, not fully, but enough. His shoulders broaden, muscles tightening under his skin, pupils blazing molten gold. A growl vibrates through his chest. Not human, not beast, both. Something moves in the shadows, fast, silent, hungry. My heartbeat becomes a hammer. A rogue wolf bursts from the darkness, jaws wide, fangs glinting. It leaps, but the alpha slams into it midair. They crash into the ground with a force that shakes the earth. I scramble backward, breath ripped from my throat. Snarls, teeth, the sound of flesh hitting bark. He moves like lightning, powerful, precise. The rogue bites his shoulder, tearing fabric, drawing blood. The alpha roars, grabbing the wolf by the throat and throwing it against a tree. The wolf doesn't get up. More howls. From every direction. Oh gods. My voice trembles. There are more. He wipes blood from his lip with the back of his hand, never taking his eyes off me. Don't run from me. Another howl. Closer. He moves toward me, expression fierce. Wild. Vulnerable. If you run, I can't protect you. I'm not. He grabs my face gently, but his voice is iron. I will not lose you. Not again. Again? Before I can ask, he pulls me against him, one hand at my waist, the other sliding behind my head. His forehead presses to mine. His breath ghosts across my lips. After midnight, he whispers, voice breaking like a confession, the bond becomes permanent. My pulse freezes. And then? I whisper. His eyes drop to my lips. Then nothing in this world will ever take you from me. Another howl rips the night open. He lifts me into his arms as if I weigh nothing. We run together. Then the world explodes into motion. Silence tastes like metal. It's the first thing I become aware of when consciousness returns, not comfort, not warmth, silence, sharp and cold, pressing against my eardrums like a warning. My eyes flutter open. I'm no longer in the Alpha King's grand ballroom, nor in the frosted hallway where his shadow swallowed mine. Instead, I am in a carriage, one of those black, old-world royal ones, the interior dimly lit by a single lantern swinging overhead. The scent of pine needles and rainwater leaks through the C.U. Ains. Outside the window, the forest rushes past like a blur of green and night. My wrists are free. My dress is intact. But something inside me isn't. It feels like my chest is branded from the inside, a tug, a magnetic pull under my sternum, like invisible strings tying me to someone far more powerful than reason. Him, the Alpha King. I press a hand to my ribcage, trying to breathe around the sensation. It's not possible, I whisper to myself. Mates don't exist anymore. They died with the old legends. But then his voice returns, after midnight, you belong to me. My pulse stumbles. The memory of him, standing behind me, breath scorching the curve of my neck, hits me so violently that I feel like I'm back there again. His fingers grazing my waist, his lips brushing my ear, his voice wrapping around me like smoke and prophecy. The lantern swings again, casting a streak of gold across the seat opposite me, and that's when I see him. Not the king. A different man, tall, wearing a uniform with a silver crest. Scar across his jaw, eyes that look like frozen river water. He's been watching me the whole time. Where are you taking me? My voice is surprisingly steady. To the palace, he replies without hesitation. By the king's orders. But I never agreed, you don't need to agree. His tone is blunt, emotionless. Once the king marks a claim, it becomes law. I choke on my next breath. Mark? What did he do to me? When? My fingertips brush my throat, searching for evidence, but find nothing. No mark. No bite. The soldier watches the movement of my hands and smirks faintly. You won't see it, he says. Bond marks are internal until completed. Internal. The invisible pull in my chest. The way my body reacts to his voice. The way the room trembles when he's too close. My stomach twists. I don't belong to him, I snap. The soldier meets my eyes, unimpressed. That's not what the king said. The carriage hits a rough patch of road, jolting us both, and instinctively I reach for the window, only to realize the glass is sealed, thick, reinforced. Of course. Royal carriage, royal prisoner. I clench my jaw, trying to think. Running didn't work. Hiding failed before it began. But I still have one weapon left. My mind. I smooth my dress, sit straighter, and meet the soldier's gaze. Fine. If I'm being taken to the palace, then I want to speak with the king directly. Bold request. He raises an eyebrow. Most people try to avoid his attention. I'm not most people. He studies me for a long moment. The faintest flicker of respect crosses his eyes. You really don't understand what it means to be claimed by him, he murmurs. I grip the edge of the seat. And you don't understand what it means to try to cage me. Before he can respond, a wolf's howl echoes through the trees, long, low, and very close. The soldier stiffens, hand moving toward the weapon at his hip. Another howl answers, then another. Not normal wolves, rogue wolves. My pulse spikes as the carriage slows. The horses grow restless, hoofs stomping, snorting, panicked. The driver shouts, rogues on the east ridge. Everything erupts at once. 3 shapes burst from the trees, massive, gray and black shadows that move too fast to be natural. The soldier curses, drawing a blade glowing faintly blue. Magic steel. Stay down, he orders. But I'm already moving. The wolves slam into the carriage, the wood groaning under the impact. Glass fractures, splintering like spider webs. The soldier lunges toward the door. King's orders, she must stay alive. He jumps out. The moment he disappears, I seize my chance. I grab the lantern overhead and smash it against the window. Flame bursts. Glass shatters. Outside is chaos, wolves lunging, soldiers fighting, blades catching moonlight. My heart hammers. Run. I jump. Branches whip my arms, thorns tear my skirt, my lungs burn, but I keep running, deeper and deeper into the forest. Stop. Before the story continues, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. The soldier's roar echoes behind me. A wolf lunges. I dodge, rolling through wet leaves, scrambling back to my feet. I don't look back. I run until my legs shake, until my vision blurs, until the cold air scorches my throat. The forest finally falls silent. No wolves, no soldiers, no carriage. I press against an ancient oak, panting. Freedom. Or something like it, because the moment I breathe in, a familiar scent curls around me like warm smoke. A voice, dark and calm, slides through the trees. Running already, little star? My blood goes cold. I turn. He stands only a few feet away. The Alpha King. Moonlight frames him, illuminating his sharp jaw, his eyes glowing like molten silver, not human at all. He looks untouched by the chaos. Almost amused. I swallow hard, forcing my voice to work. How did you find me? He steps closer. You carry my scent now. My bond. I could find you in a city of millions. My back hits the tree. He stops in front of me, close enough that I can feel the warmth of his body, the electric pull of the bond ripping through my veins. He leans in, lips near my ear. You can run every night, he murmurs, but after midnight. His fingertips graze my jaw. You're mine. My heart stutters. Fear, anger, attraction, all tangled. Before the story continues, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. But I'm not going to break. I lift my chin. You may have power, but you will never have me. His smile is slow, dangerous, devastating. We'll see. The world tilts, and darkness swallows everything. The castle didn't feel like a building anymore. It felt like a heartbeat. Every corridor pulsed with low, ancient magic, like veins beneath skin, carrying whispers of futures I didn't understand. The deeper we walked, the colder the air became, as if the stones themselves held onto secrets of blood and betrayal. And him. The Alpha King walked beside me with long, silent strides, effortlessly powerful, as though the castle bowed to his existence. Even the torches flickered in a rhythm that matched his breath. Mine, the shadows seemed to echo. I kept my arms wrapped around myself, fingers numb. The scent of pine and winter clung to him, intoxicating, too intimate. His cloak brushed my wrist, just enough to make my heart trip. Why does my body respond like this? Why to him? After midnight, you belong to me. Those words haunted every step. We reached a heavy iron door. King Arden didn't touch it, just looked. The metal groaned, unlocking itself with a shudder. Magic. Real, raw, unrestrained. He glanced at me, catching my stare. Fear doesn't suit you, he murmured. I'm not afraid. Then stopped shaking. My breath caught. I hadn't realized I was. The room beyond the door was circular, domed, carved with symbols that shimmered like moonlight trapped in stone. It looked ancient, older than the kingdom, older than the wolves. In the center stood a pedestal with a bowl of silver liquid. It rippled even without touch. What is this place? I whispered. The Hall of Fate, he answered. It reveals truths and lies. He stepped closer, his voice low enough to feel on my skin. It shows what binds two souls. The temperature dropped. Frost stretched across the floor like a living thing, crawling toward me. I gasped, but the Alpha King caught my hand, pulling me forward. Don't run, he warned. Not from this. Let go, I breathed, trying to steady my voice. I could, he said, bringing my knuckles to his lips. But I don't want to. The air between us snapped with electricity. He guided my hand over the bowl. The silver liquid responded instantly, glowing, swirling like a storm trapped in water. And now, he whispered, we see. Images burst through the liquid, mist, moonlight, a wolf running through snow. And me, reaching out to it. My heart stopped. Then I saw him, shifting from wolf to man, the same moment I had seen that night. That's impossible. It's the bond, he said quietly. Your soul recognized me before your mind did. No, I whispered, stepping back. I didn't choose this. A muscle in his jaw ticked. You think I did? He closed the space between us, slow, dangerous. His hand slid to my waist, not forcing, just there. A claim disguised as a toque. You are my fate, he murmured, voice almost broken. Not my choice. Something inside me cracked. Not from fear, from understanding. He brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. You're shaking again. You're too close. He leaned down until his breath warmed my throat. Then tell me to move. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. He smiled, slow, knowing, sinful. That's what I thought. He lifted my chin, forcing my gaze to meet his. At midnight, he whispered, the bond completes. Your power awakens, and you become the Luna of the kingdom. My power? He nodded once. You're not human. You never were. The floor tilted. My lungs forgot how to work. I don't believe you. He held me tighter, grounding me. You feel it. In your skin. In your bones. In your heartbeat. The wolf inside you isn't sleeping anymore. His hand slid to the back of my neck, thumb brushing my pulse. I can hear it calling me. The bowl suddenly exploded with light. Wind roared through the chamber, ripping my hair from its braid, swirling around us like a cyclone. The symbols on the walls ignited, burning blue-white. I screamed. Arden wrapped his arms around me, shielding my body with his. "Don't fight it," he shouted over the storm. "The bond is choosing. I didn't ask for this. But I did," he breathed, voice raw. "Because I found you long before I touched you." The wind died. Silence fell like snowfall. The liquid in the bowl cleared, revealing words carved beneath. Mated by fate. Claimed by fire. Destined to rule, or burn. My knees buckled. He caught me before I fell. "You're mine after midnight," he whispered again, but this time, there was no arrogance. Just fear. And longing. "Not because I own you," he said softly. "But because fate doesn't make mistakes." His forehead pressed against mine. And neither did I. Midnight. The word echoed in my head like footsteps in an empty hall. The Alpha King led me back through the castle, past towering windows where moonlight spilled like liquid silver, past guards who bowed their heads without daring to breathe when he passed. I tried to focus on anything except the heat of his palm around my wrist. But every touch of his skin set off a shiver of electricity under mine, like my body knew a truth my mind refused to accept. We reached a large chamber. Not a prison, not a throne room, a bedroom, massive, shadowed, drenched in moonlight. "I'm not staying here," I said, stepping back. "You are," Arden replied, voice steady. "At least until midnight passes. So I'm a prisoner." "You're protected," he corrected. I laughed, bitterly. "Is that what you call it?" He turned toward me, slow and controlled, like a storm gathering its strength. "Do you think I enjoy forcing fate upon some one who fights me at every breath?" His voice wasn't angry. It was tired, worn. That scared me more. Because a monster doesn't get tired. A man does. I moved to the window, gripping the cold stone edge. The snowfall outside was gentle, soft flakes dancing in silence, landing on the balcony like powdered stars. Freedom was right there, if I could just run. My breath fogged the glass. "Do you remember the first time you saw me?" he asked quietly. "I saw a wolf," I whispered. "You saw me," he said. "And you followed." I swallowed, heartbeat tripping. I thought the wolf needed help. "And now?" I turned to face him. He stood in silver moonlight, eyes glowing like molten gold. "Now," I said, "I think the wolf was hunting me." His lips curved, slow and dangerous. "Wolves don't hunt what belongs to them." My pulse jumped. I hated how easily he affected me. He stepped closer, each movement deliberate, predatory, but slow enough to give me the illusion of choice. "You don't have to fear me." "I don't fear you," I whispered. "I fear what you make me feel." His eyes sharpened. Something flickered there, temptation and restraint. "You feel the bond," he murmured. "No," I lied. "You do." He brushed his fingertips down my arm. Heat streaked through me like lightning. "You feel it every time I touch you. Every time I look at you. Every time I say your name without even speaking it." His breath grazed my jaw. Before the story continues, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. "I don't even know your full name," I whispered. "You will." The moon hit its highest point. A low hum of magic fluttered through the room, soft at first, then pulsing like a second heartbeat. Midnight was close. He reached for me, slow like a question, not a command. I stepped away. "No fate should decide my life," I said, voice trembling. His jaw tightened. For a moment, I saw the king beneath the skin. Not the beast. Not the legend. Just a man terrified of losing something fate promised him. "You think fate trapped you," he said. "Maybe, but it trapped me first." He walked past me, opening a drawer. Inside was a silver key, cold, gleaming, powerful. He placed it in my palm. "This unlocks every door in the castle." My heart stuttered. He was letting me choose? "You're giving me freedom?" I whispered. "No." He stepped back, gaze steady. "I'm giving you the chance to walk away." My throat tightened. "If you leave before midnight, the bond won't complete." Silence swallowed the room. He was letting me go. Why? Why would someone so terrifying give me a choice? Unless this wasn't about possession. Unless he wanted me to choose him. Why? My voice cracked. He swallowed hard. It was the first time I'd seen the king look unsure. Because love without choice isn't love, he said quietly. And I need more than a bond. The clock began to chime. Once, twice. The magic surged, wild, electric, begging to bond. Arden turned away, fists clenched at his sides. Go, he said, voice hoarse. If you stay, the bond becomes unbreakable. I stood there with the key in my hand. The door was open. I could escape, but my body refused to move. Because he wasn't trapping me. He was testing fate against free will. The door waited. Freedom waited. My heartbeat waited. The clock struck midnight, and I still hadn't taken a step. His voice was barely a whisper. You stayed. Not a question. A realization. The magic ignited. Heat exploded through my veins, wild, powerful, unstoppable. My knees buckled, and Arden caught me instantly, arms wrapping around my waist. My world tilted, my vision blurred, and then I heard it, a wolf's howl. Inside my chest, inside my soul. I gasped, clutching his shirt as the bond snapped into place, complete, undeniable. I didn't choose this, I whispered, voice breaking. His forehead pressed to mine, breath shaking. But you didn't run. His voice was raw, almost reverent. You stayed for me. And in that moment, I knew, fate didn't trap me. It led me, straight into the arms of the Alpha King. The world didn't feel like mine anymore. Not after the bond. Magic hummed beneath my skin, alive, restless, like a second heartbeat trying to break free. Every sound was louder, every breath sharper, every emotion heavier, especially when he was near. Arden stood inches away, chest rising and falling like he'd just run miles. His eyes, gold, bright, unguarded, watched me as if he was memorizing every breath I took. Say something, I whispered. I can't, he breathed. You're the Alpha King. You always have words. Not when it comes to you. The bond thrummed, soft, insistent. A magnetic pull. I stepped back, but the magic tugged me forward again, like invisible threads tying us together. What happens now? You learn what you are. What I am, I echoed, heartbeat stuttering. He nodded once, jaw tight. You're not human. You never were. A cold rush ran through me. I wrapped my arms around myself. Then what am I? He hesitated. That alone terrified me. Your bloodline was erased from history, he finally said. Your kind hasn't existed for hundreds of years. My kind? You're a moonborn. The room tilted. My pulse roared in my ears. Moonborn, a word I had never heard, yet somehow recognized. As if it had lived inside the dark corners of my memory, waiting for this moment. I don't understand. You will. He extended his hand, not commanding, not claiming, but offering. I didn't take it, not because I didn't want to. Because I was afraid of wanting to. Arden lowered his hand slowly, as if the rejection physically hurt him. There's someone you need to meet, he said quietly. Before I could question him, he turned and led me out of the room. The corridor stretched endless and shadowed, lined with tall windows where moonlight bled in silver streaks. I walked a few steps behind him, trying to tame the storm inside me. With each step, a strange sensation tightened in my chest, a pull toward something or someone. My feet carried me forward even when fear begged me to stop. We reached a towering door at the far end of the hall. Unlike the others in the castle, this one was carved with wolves, 4 of them, circling a crescent moon. Arden rested his palm against the door. The carvings glowed. Magic pulsed beneath the surface. Only your blood can open this, he said. Why mine? Because this place belongs to your lineage. Not mine. My breath caught. The door slowly opened, soundless, reverent. Inside was a circular chamber lit by thousands of floating candles. In the center stood a stone altar, covered with ancient markings. And a body. A woman. Or what was left of her, frozen in crystal, caught between life and death. Her hair, long and silver, fanned around her like liquid moonlight. Her face was peaceful, serene, untouched by time. I staggered back. Who is she? Arden's voice softened to something fragile. Your mother. My throat closed. Air refused to enter my lungs. No, my mother died in a car accident. That's what you were told. His tone held anger, not at me, but at the world that stole the truth. The candles flickered. She saved you, Arden said. She hid you in the human world so your power wouldn't be hunted. No. I pressed a hand to my chest. My heartbeat felt wrong. Too fast. Too frantic. My whole life was a lie? No. Arden's voice was steady. Your whole life was protection. A tear slid down my cheek. Not for the woman frozen in light. For the girl I used to be. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Because you weren't ready to know. He stepped closer, not touching me, but close enough that his warmth brushed my skin. You have a power that can change everything, he said quietly. That's why enemies are coming for you. Enemies? I whispered. I've felt them crossing the borders for days. He turned toward the door, eyes sharpening, voice lowering to a growl. They want your blood. Fear surged through me. And what if they find me? He turned back slowly. The Alpha King was gone. What stood before me was the wolf. If they touch you, he promised, voice lethal, I will burn kingdoms to ash. The candles flickered violently, as if reacting to the rage in his voice. The bond pulsed, H.O.T. and electric. Arden, he closed the last bit of distance between us. His hand rose, but stopped just short of my cheek. I don't care about fate, he whispered. I choose you. My breath hitched. Why? Because the moment I saw you in the mist, he said, voice breaking, I finally stopped feeling alone. Something inside me shattered, quietly, painfully, beautifully. The bond hummed, alive, real, and terrifying, because for the first time, I realized I didn't want to run. The world outside that chamber had changed. Or maybe I had. Arden didn't touch me as we left, he didn't need to. The bond thrummed between us like a tether, pulling tight every time I tried to put space between us. Moonborn, daughter of the woman frozen in crystal. A power someone wanted to hunt. The words chased me down the corridor like ghosts. We reached a balcony overlooking the snow-covered courtyard. Torches burned below, guards shifting nervously at attention. A faint alarm buzzed through the castle's magic, like the walls themselves were anxious. Arden rested both hands on the railing, jaw clenched. I could feel the storm brewing inside him. Not anger, fear. He was afraid, and that terrified me even more. What aren't you telling me? I whispered. He didn't look at me. Tonight, someone crossed the border. Someone who knows what you are. My stomach dropped. Cold seeped into my bones. Is it one of the enemies you mentioned? He nodded once. They won't stop until they have you. Moonborn blood can grant power to whoever drinks it. My body turned to ice. And you know this because? His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. Because I killed the last one who tried. A chill rippled through me, not from fear of him, but from the realization that he'd done it to protect someone. Maybe to protect me, even back then. Before I could speak, a sharp scream cut through the courtyard. Short, brutal, my heart slammed against my ribs. Arden's head snapped toward the gates. His eyes bled into molten gold. Hunter, predator, alpha. He was shifting without touching me, without needing to, power rolling off his body in waves. Stay here, he growled. A command, a warning, a promise. No, I said, surprising both of us. You can't just lock me away every time danger comes. This isn't some petty threat. His voice was rough, fraying at the edges. I know, I cut in, stepping closer. But I'm not helpless anymore. The newly awakened magic inside me surged like a wave, hot and bright under my skin. Arden froze. You feel that? He asked, voice low. I swallowed hard. I don't know how to control it. You don't need to control it. He leaned in, breath brushing my lips. You just need to trust me. Another scream, closer. He whipped toward T. He sound, muscles tensing. I won't let anything take you from me, he said, and there was no arrogance in his tone, just raw, unguarded truth. Even fate would have to fight me for you. Then he vanished. One heartbeat he was there. The next, his wolf sprinted across the courtyard, a dark blur slicing through snow. The balcony door blew open behind me, wind howling through the corridor. My pulse raced. My instincts screamed to run, but not away. Toward him. My chest tightened. My vision blurred. And then it hit. A rush of magic exploded down my spine like lightning. I grabbed the railing to steady myself. The snow, the night, the wind, they all sharpened. I could hear Arden's heartbeat in the distance, wild and fast. I could smell the metallic tang of blood in the courtyard. I could feel fear, but not mine. His. A whisper moved through my mind, low and rough and familiar. "Stay where you are." I gasped. I wasn't hearing his voice. I was in his mind. My hands trembled. I closed my eyes, focusing. "Arden?" The bond vibrated, a thread pulling tight. "You're not ready to see me like this," he growled. "Too late," I whispered back. I climbed onto the balcony rail. Snow whipped around me. Wind roared. The drop below was lethal, but something pulsed through my veins, reckless and wild. I jumped. For one suspended moment, I felt weightless. Free. Untouchable. Then something inside me unlocked. The world slowed. My bones shifted, not painfully, but like stretching after a lifetime of being cramped inside too small skin. The wind caught me, cradled me. And when I hit the ground, I wasn't standing. I was on 4 legs. Snow beneath my paws. Moonlight on my fur. I stared at my reflection in the ice. White silver. Eyes glowing like stardust. A moonborn wolf. My first shift. Arden's mind slammed into mine, shock, awe, disbelief, and something deeper. "You found me," he breathed. "Not a king, not a predator, a mate." "I didn't find you," I answered, my voice echoing through the bond. "I chose you." His wolf emerged from the shadows, massive and dark against the snow, eyes burning gold. We stood there, 2 wolves, 2 souls, 1 fate, as enemies closed in from the trees. My first night as Moonborn. His first night realizing I wasn't someone to protect. I was someone to fight beside. Snow exploded under my paws as I ran. The night was no longer silent, it pulsed with adrenaline, magic, danger. I could feel the snowflakes landing on my fur, cold sparks against my heated skin. Every breath tasted like winter and wildness. My senses were sharper. I could hear every heartbeat, every crunch of branches, every whisper of movement in the dark. And through everything, I could feel him. Arden's wolf ran beside me, enormous and dark, muscles ripped. Pling under obsidian fur. He moved like a storm, fast, lethal, unstoppable. Occasionally, his shoulder brushed mine, a silent reassurance. "I'm here. I won't lose you." We reached the tree line at the edge of the courtyard. That's when I heard them. Voices. Too many. Too close. "Keep the Moonborn alive. The king can die." A snarl ripped from Arden's chest so deep it shook the trees. I saw them then, figures emerging from the woods, cloaked in black. Their scent burned my throat, metallic, rotten, wrong. Rogues. Wolves who had rejected their packs. Their humanity. Tonight, they came for me. Arden positioned himself in front of me, blocking my body with his. "Stay behind me," his voice growled through the bond. I stepped beside him instead. He shot me a sharp look, golden eyes furious. "You're too new to this. You don't know how to fight yet." "Then teach me," I answered. His wolf huffed, half disbelief, half pride. But there was no more time. The first rogue lunged. Arden moved so fast the world blurred. One moment the rogue was midair, teeth bared. The next, Arden slammed into him, pinning him against a tree with a crack that echoed through the night. His power shook the ground. 3 more charged from the left. I didn't think, my body simply reacted. My wolf's instincts took over. I darted forward, low and fast, swiping my claws across the nearest rogue's legs. He collapsed, howling. The second rogue lunged for my throat, but I dodged and slammed into him with my shoulder. The impact shocked me. I was strong. Stronger than I should be. Moonborns weren't made to serve, a voice whispered in my mind. They were made to rule. A rogue appeared behind me. I didn't see him. I felt him. The bond flared. Arden's snarl tore through my head. "Behind you, move." I spun just as the rogue lunged. Our bodies collided, tumbling through snow. His claws sliced my shoulder, sharp pain, hot blood. I whimpered instinctively. Arden lost control. He shifted mid-fight, fur to skin, bones to flesh, raw power exploding into human form. He grabbed the rogue by the throat, slammed him into the ground, and shifted back into a wolf mid-kill. My mind stuttered. He could shift without hesitation. Without pain. Instantly. Nobody could do that. Except the Alpha King. When the last rogue fell, silence crashed around us, heavy, ringing. Arden shifted back to human, chest heaving, snow clinging to his skin. His hands were covered in blood that wasn't his. His eyes found me instantly. I shifted too, without thinking. One moment on 4 paws, the next kneeling in the snow, bare-skinned, trembling, breath fogging the winter air. Arden reached me in 3 long strides. His hands cupped my face, rough palms warm against my cold skin. His thumb brushed my lips, checky. If I was hurt. You shifted back, he whispered, stunned. No Moonborn has shifted that easily in centuries. I swallowed, breath quivering. I don't know how I did it. He leaned his forehead against mine, eyes burning with emotion I wasn't ready to name. You fought beside me, he murmured. Not behind me, beside me. I'm not fragile. No, he said, voice hoarse. You're mine. My pulse stuttered. His hands slid to the back of my neck, pulling me closer until our breaths tangled. His lips brushed my ear, barely a touch, but enough to set every nerve on fire. For the first time, he said, voice low, I didn't fear losing the crown. He pulled back just enough for me to see his eyes. I feared losing you. The words crashed into me harder than any battle. I reached up, fingers trembling, and touched his jaw. For the first time, I whispered, I chose to stay. His chest rose sharply. Snow fell around us, soft, silent, sacred. And then, slowly, reverently, he leaned in. Not a king, not a predator, a man. His lips brushed mine, not claiming, not demanding, asking. My heart broke open. I kissed him back. The bond roared to life, wild and burning. Magic burst under my skin, bright, blinding, unstoppable. A ring of silver light exploded outward, racing across the snow like a shockwave. Arden pulled back, wide-eyed. You just marked me, he whispered. I froze. What? He touched the center of his chest, a faint moon-shaped glow beneath his skin. You marked your Alpha King. My breath faltered. What does that mean? He smiled, slow and reverent, eyes full of awe. It means, he whispered, I belong to you. Blood. It was the first thing she smelled before she opened her eyes. The cave was still dim, lit only by the soft glow of the moon filtering in through the cracks above. The world felt heavy, thick with the scent of damp stone, pine, and him. The Alpha. His coat of royal black fur shimmered in the half-darkness, massive and imposing, standing at the mouth of the cave like a silent guardian. He hadn't slept. Not even for a second. He stood there exactly as he had the night before, watching, listening, protecting. She blinked, trying to sit up, but a sudden bolt of pain stabbed through her ribs. She winced, hand flying to her side. Bandages. Warm. Carefully wrapped. Her heart thudded. He treated my wounds. Her voice trembled as she whispered, why are you still here? The Alpha turned. Slowly. Powerfully. Before the story continues, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. His enormous frame shifted, bones cracking as he began to change. The moonlight clung to his muscles, his skin, his breath, until the wolf disappeared, replaced by the man. Wet hair, bare chest, eyes dark as midnight. He took a step toward her. Then another. Each movement was slow, controlled, dangerous. As long as you bleed, he said quietly, I don't sleep. Her breath caught. I don't understand, she whispered. The Alpha knelt down, his hand hovering just above her cheek, as if he was afraid to touch what he might break. You were shaking in your sleep, he murmured. Calling someone's name. She froze. Her nightmares. The trauma she never spoke of. The shadows of the life she escaped. He leaned closer. You whispered, don't leave me. Her throat tightened. She never meant for anyone to hear that. She never meant for anyone to care. He brushed the loose hair from her face, voice low and rough. I won't. The words trembled between them. Too intimate, too unexpected, too dangerous. She swallowed hard. Why? His jaw clenched. His eyes burned. Because when I found you, half dead, covered in rain and blood. He lifted her hand gently, pressing it above his heart. My wolf said, mine. She snatched her hand back. Her pulse racing, her reality cracking. No, she breathed, voice shaking. People don't claim mates like that. I'm not something you found. I'm not something you can just keep. He stood up slowly, towering over her, voice low and lethal. You think I'm doing this because of a claim? Her lips parted. He leaned down, his breath brushing her ear. I stay because you're the only thing that silences the beast. Her heart dropped to her stomach. She couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't breathe. He turned away before she could see the war in his eyes. A war she didn't cause, yet somehow, she was the only one who could end it. Rain began again, soft and steady outside. Go back to sleep, he ordered gently. I'll be here. But you need rest too, she whispered. He didn't turn around. Alpha kings don't rest, he murmured. Especially not when what's theirs is still in danger. Her breath trembled, not from the pain, not from the cold, from the terrifying realization that she was no longer running from a monster, she was falling for one. The storm eased by morning, but inside the cave, the air held a different kind of electricity. Silence, heavy, loaded, unspoken words pressed between them like a second heartbeat. She woke to the smell of firewood and herbs. The alpha wasn't in his wolf form anymore. He sat against the cave wall, broad shoulders bare, head tilted back, eyes closed, not asleep, just breathing. Watching her had finally taken a toll. A strand of his dark hair fell across his forehead. His knuckles rested on his knee, scarred and powerful. She shouldn't stare. She shouldn't feel safe. But she did. She pushed herself up slowly, wincing. You should rest. Without opening his eyes, he whispered. I rest when you're not bleeding. Her chest tightened. He wasn't lying. He never lied. His honesty was sharp enough to cut. I'm not a burden, she muttered. His eyes opened. Slow, piercing. You're a threat, he said. Her heart stopped. A threat? He stood, every movement too controlled, like he'd collapse if he allowed himself softness even for a second. You threaten my calm, he growled. You threaten my focus. His gaze dropped to her lips. You threaten every rule I've ever made. She swallowed hard, throat burning with panic and something dangerously close to hope. I didn't ask you to care. I didn't ask to, he shot back. Silence again, sharp as broken glass. He paced, muscles tense. The storm outside finally faded, but the one inside him only worsened. You shouldn't want someone like me, she whispered. His head snapped toward her. Someone like you? His voice was ice. Someone who risked their life to save a dying wolf. Someone who still shakes in their sleep but wakes up fighting. He closed the distance. 1 step, 2, until she could feel the heat of his body. You are not weak, he murmured. You're surviving. Her breath hitched. He reached out, slowly, his fingers grazing the trembling pulse on her wrist. Don't hide your scars, he said. They're proof that you endured. No one had ever spoken to her like that. No one had ever looked at her like she was something more than broken pieces. She tried to pull her hand back, but he tightened his hold, not enough to restrain, just enough to be felt. Before the story continues, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let me protect you. Her eyes burned. She hated that part of her wanted to believe him. You can't protect someone you don't own, she whispered. His grip loosened. His voice dropped to a low, dangerous rumble. I don't own you. He lifted her hand, and pressed her palm against his chest, right over his heartbeat. This, he whispered, is yours. Her breath shattered. The Alpha King, untouchable, feared, undefeated, looked at her like she was the one thing in the world that could break him. And maybe she already had. Outside, a howl echoed through the forest. The Alpha stiffened. His eyes shifted, wolf rising. We're not alone anymore. Her pulse spiked. He stepped in front of her, shielding her with his body, instinctual, primal, unstoppable. Stay behind me, he growled. Not an order, a promise, a vow. Whatever waited outside that cave. He would burn the world before he let it touch her. The howl outside the cave wasn't just any howl. It was a warning, a challenge. The alpha's body shifted instantly, shoulders wider, spine straightening, every muscle drawn tight like a bowstring ready to release. I'd never seen him like this, not furious, not possessive, prepared to kill. He angled his body in front of me. One arm instinctively reached back, guiding me behind him without looking. "Don't speak," he murmured, voice low and steady. "And whatever you do, don't run." My heartbeat pounded in my ears. I peeked around his side, my pulse turning cold. 3 wolves stood at the cave entrance, sleek, silver, vicious. Not ordinary wolves, royal guards, his guards. They lowered their heads in submission to him. But their eyes were fixed on me. One of them shifted into human form, tall, armored, expression harsh. "We tracked your scent, my king." His tone held no warmth. No human is worth abandoning the pack. Especially not this one. Human. They said it like insult. The Alpha King didn't move. He didn't blink. His voice dropped to something deadly. "She is under my protection." The guard's jaw tightened. Protection or obsession? The Alpha didn't answer. Because he didn't need to. The cave filled with something raw and ancient, power thick enough to crush breath. "I am your king," he said, eyes glowing gold. "You do not question my choices." The guard's gaze flickered to me again. Cold, detached, measuring. "And if she's a threat to the kingdom?" The Alpha shifted, not into a wolf, into something more dangerous. The man he became wasn't just a ruler. He was the storm. "If you lay a hand on her." His voice was soft, too soft. "Your blood will stain the snow." The guard took a step back. Still defiant, but less bold. I could feel the tremor beneath the Alpha's skin. He was barely holding himself together. I slipped my hand into his. Not to stop him, to steady him. His head lowered, shock flickering across his features, like he couldn't understand why I touched him. Like no one ever had. "I'm not afraid," I whispered. Lie. Total lie. But he believed me. Or maybe he needed to. The guard spoke again, voice strained. "The council demands your return. Now." Silence. Snow fell behind them in slow, soft flakes. The world held its breath. The Alpha turned to me, lowering his head so his forehead almost touched mine. "You don't have to choose," he whispered. "Just say the word and I stay." My throat tightened. Me? I was suddenly someone a kingdom could lose their king over. "I don't want to keep you from your throne," I whispered. He cupped my cheek, gentle, reverent, like I was something fragile and sacred. "You are not keeping me from my throne." His thumb brushed my lower lip. "You are becoming the reason I want to return to it." He kissed my forehead. Slow, warm, devastating. Then, he turned to his guards. "Prepare the way," he ordered. "The future Luna walks beside me." The guards froze. Luna, future queen. He didn't ask. He claimed it. My knees nearly buckled. He didn't look at me like I was fragile anymore. He looked at me like I was fate. Her world shifted in a single breath, from being hunted to being chosen. The Alpha King didn't just protect her, he claimed her future in front of those who once called her nothing. Snow fell, quiet and gentle, but inside the cave everything had changed. Destiny wasn't a distant possibility anymore. It was standing right in front of her, hand intertwined with hers, promising a war against anyone who tried to take her away. And as they stepped out into the blinding white of the forest, she realized something terrifying and beautiful. This was only the beginning. If you want part 2, comment below and I'll continue the story.